And we are back.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Sports Med Bros podcast. This is Thursday, June 4th, 2026. My name, as always, is Aaron Borgman. I'm welcomed by my co-host and good friend, Evan Kraft, live from Greenwood, Indiana. Ev, how are you doing?
It's a fantastic day in Greenwood. Let me tell you that right now,
It's a
man. It's about
fantastic
80,
night. Yeah.
85. You know, the birds are chirping, the dogs are barking. So it's a
Well,
beautiful thing, man.
we are going to get straight to it, Ev. We have a very special guest with us this evening. Another interview episode that we promised the listeners. Listen, quite frankly, this might be the most well-decorated, educated, smartest person we've ever had on a podcast. We'll debate
Yes.
that out. We'll suss that out. But tonight we have Dr. Philip Vardiman. He is an associate professor at Kansas State University with a bachelor's in athletic training from Parkville University, a master's in health physical education, and get this, leisure from Oklahoma State University, and a PhD from Arkansas. He has been a member of several Olympic medical staffs, worked at five different universities, been an NFL and collegiate injury spotter, and has more publications than our ages combined. Ev, welcome to the podcast, Dr. Philip Vardaman. Thank you for
Yes,
joining us,
sir.
Phil.
Yes.
Wow, that was quite the intro. Thank you very much.
Well,
It
we
just means
appreciate
I'm
you.
old.
Well,
Yes.
listen, no one here is getting younger, obviously, but we
Yeah.
appreciate you being here with us tonight to share your wisdom about the profession and talk about this silly stuff that we always have going around. The customary thing here is that we ask people to give the 10,000 foot view, if you will, and you can make this as long as short as you want. But tell the listeners about your career, where you've gotten to, the things that you've done, kind of your career path. Fill everybody in.
Man, athletic training fell in my lap because I was non-athletic in high school.
Same.
Same.
And so, I mean, I tried and I was, blessed enough that Tom Sanwith, who was a teacher there at Marshall, Missouri, he took me in and was like, "Hey, I got something for you. Let's get you over to the camps at the University of Missouri in Columbia." And Eric McDonald, Fred Wapple, and some of these guys took me in and showed me the ropes and kind of planted the seed there. And I'll skip a few chapters, but got into athletic training in college, Park University. Just took a chance, and I applied for a, graduate assistantship at Oklahoma State, and no, I didn't really understand how that all worked or anything, but I applied, and so I called to check in on the application, and they were like, "Yeah, we're still reviewing." And I said, "Well, I was thinking about coming down to check it out," and I did. I just went down there just to see the campus and meet the people, and I guess I made enough of a good impression that when somebody actually got kicked out of grad school, they were like, "Hey, we need somebody to fill the spot. Do you want to come down?" So, I mean, I just, it's kind of some of these things just happened throughout my life. I was just really blessed to have some doors open up, and then University of Arkansas, and actually met my wife at a track meet while I was working in Oklahoma State, and then she was going to school in Buffalo, and when she graduated, we moved to Arkansas, and that's where our kids were born, and then we moved to KU after that, and that's where I met Ev. So he was in one of the first classes there, and yeah, no, it was great. Got a lot of great experience there, and then ended up over at Kansas State, which was quite a transition. So, um,
Well, based upon the 16-page CV that I went through the other day, that is a very nice summary of what appears to be a very long and successful career. So we appreciate that for sure. But hey, listen, real quickly, you touched on something that I think Evan and I have talked about in both of our careers. That, yeah, I mean, we were in the right place at the right time with a little bit of luck, but also we kind of worked really hard to put ourselves in that right place at the right time. And when that time arose, you had the qualifications, you kind of had the chutzpah, the stuff, right? And so in that regard, I appreciate what you said about that. And I think that's kind of a story for anybody who has kind of gotten as far in the professions as we all have, especially yourself, that we're kind of looking up to hear that message and to send down to younger people for sure that like, yeah, you do have to be in the right place in the right time, but there's, some work that goes into it as well.
No, I mean there's a little bit of luck, but man, if you're given an opportunity, um, take a chance, especially when you're young. And I tell all the kids that I'm like, you
Yeah.
have no kids, no pets, you have nothing. You need to go like do crazy stuff and travel the world with this job if it'll let you and it'll take you places. You never know what's going to happen, and it just seems like the harder you work, once you get that opportunity, more will come,
Sure.
and that's
Yeah.
just kind of I've been lucky to get more opportunities, and but I think yeah, it's kind of I don't know. I've got lots of philosophical statements, but
Yeah.
we can get people interviews, but we can't, we just get them to the door. They have to walk through it,
Yeah.
and then they've got to
Yeah.
execute, or they're going to be shown the door right back out. And so you've got to work hard, and once you show your worth, man, it's going to keep going.
Well, the standard first question that we ask everybody, you kind of answered a little bit of it, but I'm just going to say it. How and why did you decide like this was the business that you wanted to get in? And obviously, we were interested in athletic training, but you've been an academic and a clinician. So touch on that a little bit about your journey there.
When I was at Oklahoma State, actually, I got to teach my first class, and it's just basic care and prevention class. But I tell you what, when you see somebody light up because they make a connection or they get it for the first time, and it was just because of something that you had read or you said, that was almost as powerful as getting an athlete back out on the field. Like it was just
Yeah.
it has that same zing, right? And so then to put them together and to teach students, like when you get a call from a student is so excited, and it's unfortunate, but the first time they get to do a Lockman's, and it's positive, like they're excited because it's new and it's exciting, and it's something that they've never experienced before. It's horrible for the athlete, but they're trying to hold that excitement back because that there's, as much as we can simulate things, until you're actually out in front of 100,000 people in a stadium, and you've got to do it right there, right when it happened. Um, and then yeah, that's the yeah, it's just it's energetic, and then to see students grow. And as I've aged, obviously, in my career now that their students have kids, and to watch them growing up and doing big people things and being successful, and changing careers and talking to them, that's the good stuff for me. It's just I don't know. It's just helping people. It always has been. So it's just helping them do what they want to do, either on the field or in the classroom or in their careers. It's just great. Yeah, got to tap into that, man. It makes you feel good.
Oh yeah. No, I'm experiencing that now. I'm a preceptor actually at UIndy now. So I
Good for
have a
you,
student
man.
now.
Yeah, there we go.
So we're trying to show them the ropes and teach them all that stuff. And I think when you're in a clinical, when you're in the role that Aaron and I were in, you don't have a ton of time to teach and
Right.
foster and do all that stuff. And I was bad at that. I don't know about you, Aaron, but I was terrible at that. Like I tried as much as I could, but when you're focused so much on players and getting everybody ready to play and getting everybody going, like you don't have time to do that. And now that I have time to do that, that's been like even in the last 4 days, I've been able to share so much info with the kid I'm working with, and it's just like, goodness, man, I wish I could have done this for the last 11 years, but I just didn't have the capacity to do that now. So it's, I mean, obviously, Phil is a former preceptor of mine, I graduated from his program, so a lot of the stuff I attribute now to what I'm doing is a courtesy to him. So to be able to pass that on and like influence further generations of athletic trainers, that's huge for me now, especially now that we're not doing this thing 80, 90, 100 hours a week, you know. So no, that's really cool. So
Well, I'm gonna counter a little bit of that, man, because we've had students that have worked with you while you were at the Chiefs, and they came back and they had glowing things to say about what you all did there and how you took time. And
That must
I
have been
think
after I
it's
left, obviously.
uh, but I mean, I think that, I think athletic trainers are natural teachers. We're doing that every
yeah,
day for our patients and our clients, right?
yeah,
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I think that it's just a natural transition. And sometimes we're teaching a lot of things when we're not even talking.
yeah,
And if you've got the right student that's willing to just pay attention and you don't have to hold their hand and they just soak it up and they can see it happening. I think
yeah,
that's the most powerful thing. I can teach things in the classroom all day long, but until they see it actually happen on the field,
Yeah.
like that's, I think it's the one of the, and I've always tried to stay clinically active because I think it's really powerful for the students to see you work.
yeah,
And they need to see how you navigate and make your decisions. And like this past year, we were working the K-State rodeo, and I have got 20 kids that volunteer to come out, and we got the PA students from our PA program here at K-State. They came out, and they were all standing around, and they're back in the chutes, and we're there for all the rough stock activities. And kid has he was doing bareback and rigging basically the buck. He just got bucked up inside the chute and just slammed into his chest. Luckily, it was on the right side of his chest. And so he got out and he couldn't breathe, and we had to get his jacket off and all this. And the kids were just still talking, and they just didn't see it. Like,
yeah,
and so when they figured out what was happening, it got really quiet and really serious because I was like, if we'd gotten punched on the left side of the chest, we might have had a commodio cordis type of situation
yeah,
on a live animal in a shoot. So I'm glad you're
That's
having a
not
good
in the
time.
book, by the way.
yeah.
No,
No, no
no, that's
way.
what I'm saying. Like it's just, but to see the kids' eyes get big and just like you can just see the knowledge just soak in, like they're just there to learn and see it, and it's great. Like it's fun to see them out and literally getting their boots dirty, right?
Yeah,
And just seeing a different side of sports medicine, and that's what I love. So, and I don't think that we can do all of that in the classroom. We've got to go
Yeah.
out and actually do some work. I know that not everybody can do that, but I try to because I
yeah.
mean I get bored in the classroom too. So yeah,
Same.
so it's good. I love teaching, but I think I still want to be clinically active, and so it's fun. So
Yeah. And I think you've kind of prided your career on that. I mean, you were always even when I was a student, you were always active in Olympic stuff and helping out with track and doing all those kinds of things. So, and you're still active with that and NFL spotting. So, I'll
yeah,
tell you a good story here, Aaron,
Please.
before I ask the next question. Um, Germany 2023.
yeah,
Phil had texted me, "Hey, I'm going over, didn't know if I would see him. We're in Frankfurt. This is 7,000 miles away from Kansas City. Pre-game, look who's on the field.
Of
Mr. Phil
course. Yeah, of course.
Slaughterman." Injury spotter for that game.
yeah.
And he
True.
had I don't remember who was with you, but the ways that this profession can connect even globally is phenomenal. So
Yeah. No,
just
Frank
wanted to
was,
highlight that.
I think Frank was the spotter from Miami.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So, and that was my first and only, knock on wood, call down. So,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So, and everybody was there. So, um, Roger Goodell was there, and
yeah,
uh, Rob was there. Everybody, as
yeah,
far as my job.
yeah.
Um, Yeah, Dr.
It's
Sills, all of them. And
yeah,
so they had actually just been in my booth right before that happened. So they left and there we go. That was slow motion stuff too, man. That was cool.
yeah,
Um, so
yeah.
glad the kid was
It's
all right though on the field. That at the end of the day, that's why we're there. But
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. It's not every day that you get to work for a team and then you travel that far away and then your clinical preceptor is on the same field or sitting up in the booth
Right.
yeah.
for the game that you're working. You know what I mean?
No, it was
So
Well,
way
it's
and
pretty
real
cool.
quickly, Ev, Doc is lucky here because he gets that opportunity to be that spotter, right?
Yeah.
You and I'm not eligible for that here in Kansas City.
No.
I can do that in another town. You could do that in another town now that you've moved out of Kansas City. But, what a cool gig, by the way, to be trusted well enough that your opinion matters so much that we
Yeah.
want you to oversee all of this. So credit to you, Doc.
Yeah. That's awesome.
no, that was another, and I won't tell the whole story, but that was one of the, I think it was Dave Price was the head athletic trainer for the Chiefs. And I got a random call from Murphy Grant saying, "Hey, would you be interested in doing something like this for the NFL?" And they had just kicked this off back in 2012, right? So that it was anyway, all of the story back when it started in 2011 in November, I believe.
That was because of us in
With yeah,
Philadelphia, by
that
the way.
Colt McCoy. What's that?
That was because of us in Philadelphia, by the way.
Yeah, so that was Colt McCoy, right? So
Uh,
anyway, so we um, basically they asked if I would be interested. Can I get my CV ready and send it in? I sent it over to Dave Price, and I was hired within the hour. That was literally the fastest thing I've ever experienced in my life. And I just called my wife and I was like, "Hey, guess what? I'm working for the NFL now. I don't know what this means, but we're gonna figure it out. This is gonna be cool." And I've been doing it ever since. So
Yeah.
yeah,
well, we're off the rails already, as we typically are on this podcast. But
yeah.
Ev, go ahead and ask whatever question you want on the agenda. I don't care.
No, no, so we're going to shift gears here a little bit. You're obviously the program director at K-State, which is
Oh
a,
no, actually, I'm not.
or you're not.
Update.
Not anymore. No, I actually stepped out of that role to focus on research.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll shift gears again. What do you most like about your current role, and what do you least like about your current role in the
Oh,
research side?
okay. Um, so right now, I think the thing I like the most is I feel like I'm because I was in that role as program director for such a long time. I was trying to be active in research as much as I could be, but that responsibility really requires the majority, if not all, of your attention. These students are paying so much money to be in a master's program now, and I can't neglect those things to make sure that they are getting through the program appropriately. And so for me, I just had to, I neglected that part, the research part. I was doing scholarly activity and getting things done and giving talks and doing the thing, but it really wasn't getting back into the research like I probably needed to be. So, just when I made the switch, getting back in now it's that challenge of re-engaging at the level that I need to be at to advance my career on the research side. So I would say that would be the thing that's exciting right now is getting those things going. Like we're doing a research project now where, I'm basically responsible for the casting. So we're casting forearms, short arm splint with the thumb spica, kind of an immobilization study, but we're looking at um, basically neuromuscular stiffness, and we're actually doing some brain activity type stuff. So we're doing some transcranial type of work in different labs. So it's a big collaboration. So I just have a small part of it, but it's pretty cool to get. So that's the fun part is I get to use my skill and actually do research. So it's fun. And then the other part was, what do I hate the most, or what I
Hmm.
don't like the most? I would say there's just not enough time in the day, right, to get absolutely everything done. And I think for me, I'm teaching, I've taught new classes for the last few semesters. I think 4 semesters in a row, I've had a new prep, and that's a lot of work, especially at the graduate level. Um, so I'm ready for that to be over. I'm ready to not have new class. So I think that I enjoy the thrill of that and actually making it come out, but I'm excited about not having a new class prep here in the next semester. So it's good. So I would say that would be the one thing I like teaching, but new classes are stressful because it's all new.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
first and foremost, thank you for that answer. That was a great answer. Secondarily, you did not dispel anything by saying all what you just said, that you're the most intelligent person that's ever been on this podcast, and clearly the most educated. So you're not doing great on that front so far. But tell us, in 2026, what do you think makes a good athletic training student?
I go back to the basics, man. Um, I told Evan this, and when he was going through our program, students who get it, they get it. And what we have to do is we have to provide as much information as we can and not get in the way. And so I've told him this, so it's not new to him, but I just didn't get in his way. I just didn't mess it up, and that's where we have to really um, harness their energy, and get it focused to where they're really wanting to continue to seek that information. The way we have to teach now through the accredited programs is different than how I was taught, and so we were kind of I mean I don't know, I went through an internship program, so we got a kit, and they sent us to practice,
Yeah.
and I got to learn a lot of things, right? And that was great. I mean, I did learn a lot. But I mean, I see the necessity of making sure that everybody's learning a lot, and doing the right things the right way. But I think the students who constantly engage and who aren't scared, um, to ask questions when it's appropriate. And when I say they get it, I mean, if you're in a live athletic training room in a pregame setting, and everybody's getting everybody prepped up and ready to go onto the field, that's probably not the right time to ask a question. And so for students to have the discernment to be able to, like, okay, I'm gonna take out a pad, and this is the thing, is like, if you see one actually pull out a pad and write something down on a piece of paper rather than pulling their phone out, because unfortunately phones are great to take notes on, but if you pull your phone out in an athletic training room and you're typing in your phone, it looks like you're texting someone. And so, write it down on a 3x5 card, whatever you want. But write your question down, don't forget it, and then ask it later. And so for students to do something like that, um, or to see students take the time to maintain the relationships, as they progress through. So not, they have a preceptor their first semester in a program, and they hopefully figure out that they should stay in contact with them, because who knows if there's ever going to be situation where that preceptor might be able to help them out, and they're building their network, and they just to see them kind of start putting that together is great. Um, I think that those are the things that I look for is just they take the time to get it.
Yeah,
They wanna try to figure it out for themselves a little bit, but they're taking the time. They're putting
sure.
in the energy.
You know,
Yeah.
it's you bring up an interesting point, and Ev, I'm gonna let you ask your question next here real quick. But the summer interns that we would always have in the NFL, you know, Ev and I and you in college experiences like games were like this, right? Like we don't get too high, we don't get too low. Those students when they come in, their eyes get about as big as saucers, 5 minutes before you hit the field, and you're like, this is nothing, just wait. And and so like it is interesting to see the reactions of the people that are getting their feet wet in those environments, but you also need that. You have to feel that stress in order to overcome it, right? You have to be in the fire, so to speak, in order to not get burned. And so, whatever metaphor that you want. So, I think it's really cool that you said that because I think it's super important because you cannot be ready for those environments unless you've experienced it to some level beforehand. And I won't speak forever or anything like that, but we would always kind of like have a running gag about which student or intern was going to get in the way the most, or who was going to be the worst, so on and so forth. And to your point, there's a time and a place to kind of wiggle that awareness. I'm going to use that word. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you making that point. Ev, please.
No, I was going to say, um, with your research role now, where do you want to take that from here, Bill?
Uh, we're doing some stuff with so Dari with the 3D motion capture
Oh,
stuff.
very cool.
Yeah.
And incorporating that into that. I mean, when I was at KU, we were doing muscle biopsy research and a lot more invasive stuff. And I'll be honest that's not, I mean, I liked it and I enjoyed that part of research. I'm glad I learned the benchtop work, but um, sticking a Bergstrom needle that's the size of, a pinky into somebody's leg is not, I didn't
I'm out.
necessarily
I'm
enjoy
out.
that. And when, yeah, Evan
I've
was
been a
really,
subject. I
No,
was a
I'm out.
yeah.
subject for
I'm out.
But I mean,
that.
and I've had, I think, 7 biopsies on my legs
Yeah.
as part of the process of learning, you got to experience it. So I did that. And yeah, in fact, I think the worst thing was my wife was taking me to lunch one day and I was going out to the car. I just had a biopsy and it was windy that day. And so the door opened and it slammed into my thigh, like right where the
Oh,
incision
shit.
was.
God.
And so whatever it did, so it actually bled down into my knee. I ended up with a hemarthrosis.
Oh my
And
gosh.
Oh,
I begged my wife that night to drain my knee. I was like, I know you know how to do this. I just wanted her to just stick a needle in my knee and drain it because it hurts so bad. I've never experienced that. It was one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever experienced. So anyway, since I was, kind of doing some of the research at that time and we were figuring it out, I was like, well, I guess I don't know if I have to put this in as an ill effect or, an unprecedented event that happened in our research or not. We didn't turn it in. But it was fun. But no, it's so now I like the non-invasive things. So that's a little more tolerable, I think, for me. And I think trying to incorporate some things with like sway
yeah.
is great. And so, I'm not
Friend of the
trying to name
program,
drop
Sway.
or rep,
Yeah.
Yeah.
bring in all the companies that have been great to me in my career. But those are those are kind of the things that we're kind of looking at. Got to go over to baseball here at K-State, and we actually captured all the pitchers off the mound. So we were doing some stuff with the DAR system there and incorporating TrackMan data and everything off the mound, and that was just a blast.
Oh yeah.
And then we had a couple of guys that, their data was a little wonky, and we dialed it in. We actually brought them in, so it was a really cool deal. We had the pitching coach, the athletic trainer, Blaine Burris, myself, the athlete. We all came in and we talked through and showed him the video and kind of talked about what we needed to work on, and that was fun. Like
Yeah.
that was fun. And so, I'm hopeful they've talked about a pitching lab here with K-State Athletics, and I definitely want to be involved in that, and so continue to kind of help out. So anyway, so a lot of the things that I'm trying to do are clinical type of work that's going to have some clinical implications. Bringing some students in if I can to help with the research. It's hard to get them because they're often clinicals all the time doing things. But when we can get them in to do and help with research, it's fun. So it's a good time.
Real
So
quickly, before we move on to the next question, I just wanted to say I think it's really important that the students that are interested in that side of the profession get exposure to that because that's what we need to aid our clinical stuff, right? And
Yeah.
that's how we advance the profession clinically. So thank you so much for, kind of sticking up for that side of things.
well, it is important. We talk about evidence-based practice, and it doesn't get any more evidence-based than that. And
Sure.
when we actually have teams that are willing to work with you and allow you to do data collection on athletes, and that doesn't usually happen. And so it gets a little crazy when you're trying to do like a double blind study or things like that where you don't know who's going to get what, and that gets a little iffy, and whether or not that's going to work out or not. But if you've got access to athletes and you can get them maybe in off season and do some things intervention wise and see what the impact is, it's really powerful for the clinicians that are in charge of them, for the athletes, and then definitely for the research. So kudos to all of the researchers out there that have gotten access, and there's some Gretchen Oliver and some other people that I really look up to that I got to work with at Arkansas and got to know they're doing amazing things in the world of sports medicine right now. So yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. That's awesome. And you don't, not everywhere do you have that access to athletes at that level, you know, without navigating all the bullshit
A lot
essentially
of
that
hoops.
you have
Yeah.
to,
A lot of hoops.
navigate. Yeah, a lot of hoops to jump through. I'm going to ask you a two-parter here, Phil. Um, what's the most important part of, I know you're not on the educational side anymore, but what's the most important part of AT education this year? And then second part is, who's the best athletic training student you've ever had?
Oh, wow.
It's a little bit loaded.
Wow. So as far as athletic training, most im the most important things for athletic training education.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, I think the most important thing for athletic training education now is threading that balance of the didactic, book learning that they have to get in a very condensed format. So a lot of
yeah,
programs went from 3 or 4 years, right, into two. And so they're
Mm.
cramming it in as a 6 semester program and trying to get students to understand that when you get through your first class, so we just started a new cohort and I'm teaching a performance enhancement kind of class, so strength and conditioning stuff. But getting them to understand that the basic concepts that they're learning in this foundations class is now going to carry through the remainder, and they're going to be tested on this from the BOC. But it's foundational. It's important for them to understand basic concepts of progressive resistive exercise, overload, getting into Wolf's Law and all of these things to how we advance, how we grow, how we get healthy. And you can't just get through this class and then skip it and then you're going to learn something different. You've got to now keep relearning that and then build. And it's in a much condensed format. So I think that's the most important thing in the kids that figure out a way to go back and touch that previous semester to make sure that they don't lose that and then continue to build are the ones that are successful. And so figuring out the best way for us as educators to continue to do that. And we talk about it with the students constantly, but you know, uh, horse to water, whatever analogy we want to
Yeah.
use.
Yeah.
So they've got to make that decision on their own. And I think the successful ones do that. And I think that's the most important thing that we're teaching now. I think there's a lot more. So I taught modalities when you were at KU, and now, when I was teaching interventions here, my interventions classes look a lot different. So yes, we talk about electrical muscle stem, we talk about ultrasound, but man, I'm all about muscle energy. We're talking about massage, soft tissue mobilization, ISTM, cupping, you name it. Like we're gonna do all of the things that I think Ken Wainwright, he's a friend, but I would say he's probably a good mentor to me as well. But
Oh yeah.
you you don't go anywhere without these in your head. So I mean,
Yeah.
if you can, you should be able to do everything you need to do with those two things. So that's kind of a philosophy that really is, and that's what we did with USA Track. We didn't do a ton of therapeutic modality stuff. We had that stuff with us if we needed it, and it was indicated, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of it was soft tissue work, and so that looks different. And so for the second part of your question, uh, I've had some great students, man. I've been very blessed, um, and so you know, I, you obviously are one of the great students that I've had, and I
Here
you
we
know.
go.
I'm not. I'm serious,
You
man.
don't have to
And I
kiss any ass on here, man.
no,
It's
no,
it's
but
fine.
there's some students on here. There's some students that have gone on to do other things. That and I'm like, wow, like you're not even in athletic training anymore.
Yeah.
So they've gone on to do nurse anesthetist. We've seen students that have just gotten out of athletic training in general. We've got students best, really good, solid kids that are at high schools because they just fell in
Yeah.
love with it. I
Yeah.
think of, um, oh, I'm blanking right now. He's in Tonganoxie with Mark Padfield still.
Oh yeah.
Um, and so that kids that they come in and they figure out that they want to do the teacher athletic trainer thing, and then life just kind of takes them where it takes them.
Yeah.
And they're still amazing people doing great things, but they're just not in athletic training anymore. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think, yeah. So I mean, you're definitely top tier, dude. Like, so don't you always leave that, and but it's hard for me to, I mean, to go through and think about. It almost gets a little emotional actually
Yeah.
when you think about all the students that you've worked with and what they're doing now and all the great things. And we just had a little hand in that. And so, while you were there, it was me and Dave Carr, and I get to see him tomorrow, actually. So he'll be down.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
So
Bill
yeah,
Dave.
right.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to your hometown in Wichita, Kansas, actually,
Oh wow.
to give a talk tomorrow, and then head over to Tulsa, and go hang out with your Oklahoma boys for a little
Oh
while.
man. Be
Friend of the
At
show.
careful.
Yeah.
Oklahoma
Be
Friend.
Athletic
careful.
Trainers Association's meeting. So excited
Yeah.
about
Well,
it.
I think you buried the lead there, and you didn't quite get to it on your own. So I'll say it out loud that you have been to several Olympics, mostly dealing with track and field athletes. Obviously, the first Olympics, I believe I got this correct, that you went to. You were with the walk, run, walk team. I believe that's correct. Um,
So the
Race
first
walking.
Race
so
walking,
yeah, so
race
the
walking.
first
That's what it
Yeah.
is.
so the first USA track event that I went to was the World Cup for race walk in Cheboksary, Russia.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And
As
that
one
was
does.
it, and well, so how they kind of build the system within USA Track, how they used to do it anyway, is they would recruit someone and they would put you with a small team. And they usually put you in with not only the upper levels of the adults, or they put you in with the juniors. And so you would go with this team, and what I learned quickly is if you just went and you just worked hard, like you just, it didn't matter that it was race walk. They just wanted you to go and work hard and do the best you could for USA Track. And that was such an interesting group of kids actually to go and work with. And so we got to go over there, and it was a big team, and Russia was interesting. That whole vibe is interesting. Um, but you're graded out by the athletes and the coaches, and so if you don't do a good job and you act like you don't care, I mean, you're just not
Hmm.
coming back. And
I don't think I
so
knew that part.
yeah, so every trip that you go on, you're graded. So they do evaluations on you. You get to evaluate the coaches. So as you're working with all of this staff, and then so as you continue to work through those those evaluations matter. And so go in with great attitude and just hit it. So it's fun. So I got asked back, and what's funny is the race walkers that I worked with, some of them were juniors and some of them had just become adult race walkers. Anyway, they were on almost every stinking trip that I went through my entire track and field career all the way to 2019 when I was the head down in Peru. And that was cool. I mean, they had some long careers. In fact, one of them was a WCAP, which is the World Class Athlete Program through the Army.
Yeah.
His name's John Nunn. Shout out to him, man. He was amazing. Great dude. He's now a physician assistant working in California, and he just had an amazing career. And that's all he did for the Army was go and race walk around the world. And I was like, what a great career. And
Yeah.
then the very tail end of his career, he got to go to PA school on the Army, and now he's
Oh.
doing good stuff. So no, it's just great people. So a lot
And
of fun.
real quickly before we move to the next segment of our program, how many Olympics, World Championships have you been involved in?
See, so my first world championship was so Pan American Games in 2011, 2013, Russia for World Championships, 2015 World Championships, Beijing, then the Olympics in Rio, 2016. World Championships 2017 in Birmingham, England, or London. Sorry, London.
Wow.
London. We actually trained Birmingham. Anyway, and then sorry, then my last was they put me on as the head athletic trainer for the Pan American Games for Lima, Peru.
So
So
the
that was
answer is
fun.
many, quite
A
frankly.
few, yeah, no, it
Yeah.
was it's good. And then there was
Just a
other small
couple.
trips, which I thought were great. So I got to go to a Five Nations match in Scotland, where it was just like me and seven other athletes. That was cool. That was a lot of fun actually. So,
Well,
and
it's kind of like the
I
old
learned. Go
Dr.
ahead.
Seuss mantra, like the places you will go in the profession, right? As long as
Oh
you
yeah.
take you there.
I
Um,
would not have been able to travel the world like that, honestly. So I got to see a lot of the world because of athletic training. I mean, I have a wife and two amazing kids because of this profession. I mean, I met her at a track meet in Buffalo, New York. She was going to school in Buffalo, and we met through an athletic training friend. Bethany was an athletic trainer at Michigan State, before. And so that was her previous life. And so we met at a Bear and Wings party. And then Ronnie Barnes, he is the one that sealed the deal. So shout out to Ronnie Barnes, who threw the
The closer.
He threw the Michigan State alumni party in Baltimore in 1998. And that's where I asked her out on a date. And she stood me up because we didn't have cell phones back then. We couldn't, you couldn't just call. And so she ended up looking me up later because we used to have the old school. We had a phone book of
Yeah.
all the athletic trainers, right?
Hmm.
So she actually figured out that my first name was John and stalked me that way, called me up, and the rest is history.
Oh,
Well,
that's great.
Yeah.
speaking of looking you up, which we just did, how can people find you or get a hold of you if they want to learn more about your unique path in the profession?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm one of the few ball guys at Oklahoma or at K State now. I'm just kidding. They could just P Vardiman at ksu.edu. And feel free to reach out. Be glad to talk with any of them. Yeah, it's great to actually get to know people like yourself and through mutual friends and, meeting you when you guys were, obviously Evan when he was a student, but you at the Chiefs and Glove and all Tiff and all the folks that it was, yeah, it's just cool. It's all about relationships for me anyway. That's what makes this profession so good. And the art is really just maintaining those and trying to reach out and keep pinging people and letting them know that you're thinking about them. So it's pretty good.
Well, speaking with of relationships, we hope our relationship is good after this trivia session, which starts right now. Um, Dr. Philip Vardiman, you attended Marshall High School in Marshall, Missouri.
Uh-huh.
As of 1989, Marshall was recognized as the smallest United States city to have one of these. What am I speaking of?
University?
The answer we're looking for is a full-size orchestra. They're all Marshall, Missouri is also apparently known for airplane manufacturing, and a psychic dog apparently is in its lore.
Oh, Jim the Wonder Dog.
There you go.
Jim the Wonder
Yes.
Dog.
Yeah. No, I remember Jim the Wonder Dog. I
So
didn't know about the
apparently,
orchestra
Marshall,
thing, but
Missouri is the smallest United States city to have a full-size symphonic orchestra.
yeah.
There you
I,
go.
yep.
Aaron,
I actually played in the municipal band in the summers, actually. Yeah.
there
So
you go.
I'm a band nerd, so tread lightly.
Um, Aaron, you're gonna have to take the trivia because I've got a technical issue on my
Okay,
computer here.
that's
So
okay. What you attended Park University in North Kansas City, Parkville, Missouri.
Hmm.
What is the proper name of the Park University mascot?
Pirate?
He is a pirate, but he has a proper name.
Yeah, you got me there, man.
We were looking for
Sorry.
Sir George, apparently, is the proper name for the Park University mascot.
I didn't know that.
We're going to count that as over 2, Dr. Vardaman. Um,
Oh, okay. Great.
so you were at the University of Arkansas from the years of 2000 through 2005. There's a lot of really good athletes that came through there, especially football players. We're looking for two of the most widely accepted successful football athletes during your time at the University of Arkansas. And these are pretty unanimous from what I could find.
Hmm. So that's kind of unfair, but I was really with men's athletics because we were separate then. This is back in the day when we had men's athletics and women's athletics. And I went to women's athletics in 2020 or 2002. So during my time, that was when I was there. Let's
I'll give you a
see.
clue. One's a quarterback and one's a running back.
Um, what was Matt's last name? Um, I know what you're talking about. because he actually played as a wide receiver
in the NFL. Correct.
in the NFL. Yep. You got to give me at least a half point for
I'll
that,
give you a
Matt.
half. We're looking for Matt
Yeah.
Jones.
Yeah, Matt Jones. No,
Yeah.
and he was one of the fastest people because he was deceptive because he was so long when he ran. His strides were 5 yards, man. Like but he looked lanky and slow, but he was moving.
Yeah.
But his gait was it was so interesting to watch him play, but it made absolute sense. Um, yeah, no,
And the other
yeah.
guy that we're
So
looking for is a running back who probably was selected by an owner that also attended the same university.
Yeah. I
mm.
have it now,
So
Aaron
I mean, Jones, yeah.
The answer we're looking
uh,
for is Darren McFadden,
McFadden.
Dr. Vardiman.
okay.
Yeah.
McFadden was I didn't get to work with him, so he was after me, but yeah, no, he was pretty amazing to watch. So
Ev, why don't you take the last two?
Okay. So you started working at KU in '05,
mhm.
and while you were there, a 37-year drought was ended in football against a certain rival team that season. Who was that team? Football.
Nebraska?
Yes. Do you know the
That's
score?
correct.
No, it was like 64 to something. Something.
Uh,
I it was ridiculous because
yeah.
and here's a quick story. Mark Mangino um was
Ev's guy.
the head coach and I'd helped Murphy out with practice. You may have heard me tell this story before, but when I was at practice with him, we had a couple of uh offensive line guys that had lost a lot of weight in the summer, and so their custom fit knee braces did not fit them
Right.
anymore. And so Murphy gave me some elasticon tape and said, "Tape those guys, get their braces to stay up. Their braces are going to be in tomorrow. We just got to get them through practice day." And so I'm standing there and I tape this guy as best I can, and his knee braces fell down. And Mangino just starts screaming at me. I want him fired. I want him off my field. And and I was like, no, that's fine because I'm a volunteer and not getting paid to be here. And I'll go inside. It's air conditioned inside. Um,
Fantastic story.
and Murphy talked me down. He was great. Um, anyway, so it was during that game. Mark Mangino walks up to me and he looks at me and goes, what am I supposed to do? And we had just sent like our third string running back in, and he broke for an amazing run, touchdown, right? And he's like, I put in my slowest guy, and he still scores. Like, what am I supposed to do? And I'm like, I don't know, coach. You're doing everything you can. And he goes, exactly. And so he walked away, and Murphy goes, that was his apology. No, it was great. But I mean, he was great. It was just, that was him.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it was just
Great story.
no, it
I
was
can tell
fun.
you numerous more of those from
Yeah,
being a
but
student there. But
yeah, no, if you weren't fired by him, apparently you didn't work there. So it was a joke. But anyway, no, that's just how it operated. But
Oh
anyway,
yeah.
it was a lot
Yep.
of fun. But yeah, no, that was yeah, it was I don't know the exact score, but yes, I remember that game because it was a big deal. That
Oh
was
yeah.
Well, I
Yeah. I
don't know what
think
the score of our game here is. I want to say I want to give you 2.5 points out of five or four so
okay,
far.
great. I'm half. All right,
yeah.
let's get over 50% here. You got one
I
more?
think you got a good chance
Yeah.
with the next
I
one.
got one more and then I got a bonus after this that is
Okay.
not on the agenda. So in 2015, you began working at K-State. At the time, you had a track athlete that went on to set all kinds of records and went on to be an Olympian. What country did she represent?
Oh, he's
Hmm.
king.
I know exactly. So she was a multi-eventer
Do you have the
here.
name of the athlete?
Do you have the name or the
No, I
country?
didn't work with her though. That was the thing, is I was over on the academic side, so I didn't get a chance to work with her, but she was at the Olympics with us. actually. So, because our both of our coaches were there. Oh, what was her name? She was good.
Well, as I
Uh,
told you before the show, you're a hard guy to dig up information on.
where
So some of
it
these
was a
are,
small, it's a small Caribbean island, right?
Yes. Yep.
I think we can give partial credit to that, Ev.
Yeah, we'll give that. Yep.
Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, no, she was great. God, Virgin Islands. I'm going to say that, but I don't think that's right.
It is not.
It's not Jamaica, is
Nope.
it? No.
Nope.
All right, I give up.
That would be Aquila Jones from Barbados.
Yeah.
And then bonus
Okay.
question,
Okay.
Oklahoma State time.
Okay. Oh,
So,
digging it up.
and you'll probably ace this one. Garth Brooks, two sport athletes or two sport
Oh, I
athlete.
know this one.
What two sports?
Baseball, track and field. He threw the javelin,
Yep,
actually.
bingo.
Boom.
That's too easy. It's too
And in
easy.
fact, I've got a great picture of him throwing the javelin. I mean, you wouldn't recognize him at all.
No, no.
I still think he's one of the top performing artists that I've ever seen
Yes,
live. Like he
100%.
was, he was absolutely amazing. But funny story, Dick Weiss was the head track coach at Oklahoma State. And we were driving back once and we just got on the topic of, throwers. And he said, that Garth Brooks, yeah, he was pretty good. But if he would have practiced the javelin as much as he practiced the guitar, he might have made something of himself. That was hilarious. And I mean, he said it with jest, but I was like, that's hilarious. I think everything worked out just the way it was supposed to.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
But
yes.
no, he was apparently quite the athlete. I mean,
Yeah,
he could
yeah,
toss it. So
yeah.
Well,
pretty
I'm
cool.
not sure that we can do any better than that story. So this seems like a great place to land the plane tonight. Dr. Phil Vardiman, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for telling us your story. Thanks for telling us some stories that we hadn't heard before. We can't begin to repay you for sharing your knowledge and your wisdom over the years about the profession. We encourage anybody that has any questions regarding any of this, please reach out to us or Dr. Phil.
Yep.
Just a great resource of information for the profession and has all kinds of knowledge regarding being an athletic training student if you're interested in it, any kind of clinical stuff. Anything that you'd like to say to any kind of listenership before we sign off for the night, Doc?
Yeah, it's really important for us to continue to advocate for our profession. So there's lots of ways to do it and to engage. But it takes athletic trainers to stick up for athletic trainers. We've got to build relationships with others, but really we've got to get in there and get dirty and continue to build the profession the way we want to see it. And I see a lot of people doing things for the military and industry. I got an email actually from President Duffy the other day, and it's just little things like that go a long way for people to be reaching out and trying to build a profession. So we can't complain about it if we're not willing to get our hands dirty and get in there and change it ourselves. And I want to thank you all for opening up doors to the young, growing athletic trainers to see individuals who are doing it differently, because we need more of that. We need them to embrace the idea of cash pay business. We need to get them to understand that entrepreneurship is a viable option for them. And there's something to be said about cutting your teeth in what we would consider those traditional settings, just to get the experience you need to be able to transfer that out to do your own thing. But man, we need to keep growing. We need to find ways to grow, and we can't just always grow in the same pots that we live in like plants, man.
Yeah.
We gotta figure out some different ways to do business. And I just want to say thank you all for showing the ropes to people, because and another time, maybe I can come back when I've got this figured out. I talked to Evan about it a little bit, but um, I think that there's ways for us to maybe incorporate some of that into the educational side. And I know that there's some places that are trying to do that. And I think we need to plant that seed earlier,
Yeah.
because it is a business. And so we need to think about that. So anyway, thank you all for having me on. But again, we don't do any of this world by ourselves. So we just got to
No.
take care of the people around us that help us get better at what we do. And the students, faculty, staff, colleagues, everybody's helped me along the way. And so I really try not to take credit for anything. I do take credit for work, but it's the people around you that make it not work, and it's fun.
We
And
thank
it
you for
makes us young, even though I don't have any hair. So,
we
Well, if it wasn't for you, Phil, I would not be sitting here right now. So I want to thank you for being on. Obviously, you've been an incredible mentor to me, both personally, professionally. You're always checking in on me, and I think that just it's resonated with me for the last, gosh, I don't even know, almost 20 years now. So I encourage you guys, and Aaron would probably agree with this, but
obviously.
help your students, help your people, continue those relationships. Like, obviously, Aaron and I aren't sitting right here if we didn't work together, and Phil's not on this show if I wasn't his student. So there's a lot of good messages here for you guys to remember and just pass that on. So go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I was just gonna say, like, it's just one of those deals where I didn't know Dr. Vardiman until like 2013. Um, and now I see him at every meeting that we attend or every show that
Yeah.
we or whatever, and we cut it up and we talk about the profession. And it's just one of those deals where, he's obviously talked about the relationships, and that's a big deal. Together, we're all trying to make the profession better and advance the profession.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. Um, do we always agree on everything? No, not absolutely not, and that's okay.
That's fine. Yeah.
But talking about it helps. Getting knowledge out about it helps. So I just want to thank you for your very unique viewpoint. I think that in many ways you've educated me on a lot of things that I didn't know about, not only just clinically but also in the profession at large. So thank you so much for being here with us tonight on a random Thursday night in June. Thanks for letting us
great.
talk your ear off and
Yes.
just whatever. We appreciate you, Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
Well, no, I appreciate the invitation. This is great. Yeah, thank you very much.
If anybody has any questions, obviously you can reach us on the show or you can reach out to Doc directly. We appreciate everybody. Ev, any parting shots before we leave the show this evening?
Nope. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Thank you so much. Everybody have a great night. We'll get back to you next week.